Mr. Raghav Agarwal is a consultant at Bain and Company in private equity practice. He received his MBA from IIM Bangalore and a BTech in civil engineering from VJTI. He brings expertise in strategic advisory and commercial due diligence of multi-billion dollar assets backed by a robust blend of analytical prowess, strategic decision making, and communication skills. Sir is a J.N. Tata Endowment Scholar and an IIM Bangalore Merit Scholar. Over to you, sir.
Firstly, thank you guys for such a great introduction. I don't think even my parents speak so highly of me. Also to add, I was a student of CNMS, so I am born and raised here. So good evening all. I am Raghav Agarwal, as you already know. Standing here today, I feel like Batman returning to Gotham without my cape, without a Batmobile, without a chiseled physique, or an occasional glamorous company. To be fair, my beautiful teachers have always made me feel special. But what I bring to you is a plenty of tales from the dark night of my own journey. And while I stand here as someone supposedly called to inspire you, trust me when I say this, I am no lighthouse lighting up a clear path to success. I have my own imperfections, I have my own flaws, I have my own failures. I am still learning, and I don't know the answers. To be fair, I'm probably only half as successful as some of my peers. To sum myself up, I'm more like a Swiss Army knife, functional in a pinch, decent at a few things, but far from being the ultimate tool. I studied civil engineering at VJTI, but I couldn't get into my dream university for masters. However, somehow I ended up becoming the youngest CXO at one of India's largest quiz gaming apps. Post that, I survived the roller coaster that is IIM Bangalore and landed a job as a management strategy consultant at Bain and Company. For those who don't know, that's the most sought after roles for an MBA graduate coming out of a business school. So I kind of outpaced most of my peers. Despite that, with 14 gray hair on my head, I'm still figuring out what I want to do in my life. Your life will be completely different. Your journey will have its own quirks, its unexpected turns, and that's what will make it yours. One thing that I have learned is the importance of embracing imperfections and finding self worth in a world that seems obsessed with looking flawless. My journey of embracing imperfections started right here in school when I signed up for debates and elocutions. My early encounters were absolutely disastrous. I fumbled, I stammered, I lost my train of thought mid sentence. I went blank. It was like getting castled by a Jasprit Bumrah Yorker, unexpected and humbling. Well, after each failure, I went back to the drawing board. I learned, I analyzed, and I came back stronger. And I turned my failures into my strength. And look where I am today, addressing the brightest young audience in the city on one of the world's most popular public speaking platforms. How many of you have heard of Dipender Goyal? That's right, he's one of the co-founders of Zomato, one of India's largest delivery apps. Well, how many of you know that he still struggles with speech? Well, Mr. Dipender Goyal didn't let his flaws define him. It's clearly evident that your imperfections are no barrier to success. Fast forward to a few years, where I found myself as the youngest business owner and product head at, as I said, one of the largest quiz gaming apps in India at Crimson Code. But here's the irony. I was a civil engineer who had a preference for outdoor sports and knew absolutely nothing about mobile games. I was probably only as creative as our civic authorities finding permanent solutions to our potholes, which is to say, not very. So you can understand my surprise when I was the youngest CXO there. Well, challenge was new. I had to learn everything on the job. I had to learn from my own mistakes. I learn on the go. And there's one thing that I learned there was that your limitations do not define you. They rather push you to expand. So from someone who still drinks boost milk, don't knock it, it is really awesome. Trust me when I say this, your flaws, your missteps, your cracks, your mishaps, your failures, they'll add that extra flavor to your story. Fast forward to a few years, it was 2021 in IIM Bangalore, and my group and I had an 8 a.m. presentation for Mr. Vipul Parekh, one of the co-founders of Big Basket. Our job was to pitch Big Basket's potential entry into quick commerce. It was a big deal back then because Blinkit and Zepto were still scaling up. So my group and I wrapped up our presentation deck 2 a.m. the night before, but in a classic student fashion, decided to celebrate. Well, one thing led to another, and it was already 5 a.m. At 7:55 a.m., two of us bolted awake, threw on whatever we could wear, and sprinted to the presentation room, while one of us was still wearing crumpled shorts and slippers as his excuse for formals. Well, when we entered, my friend mumbled an apology to Mr. Parekh, but accidentally dropped the F-bomb. While all these shenanigans were happening, my three other teammates were still fast asleep in their respective rooms. Despite all the odds, we aced the presentation. This wasn't because we were meticulously prepared, clearly not. This is because we embraced the chaos and delivered it with confidence. It was more like Jake Paul beating Mike Tyson, or for F1 fans out there, more relatable, Max Verstappen winning the Brazilian GP recently concluded from P17 to P1. So one thing that I learned there was that sometimes embracing chaos is far more powerful than striving for perfection. However, my IIM story fails in comparison to the true resilience of Vinesh Fogart and Christian Eriksen. How many of you followed the Paris Olympics 2024? How many of you followed the journey of one of India's most tenacious wrestlers, Vinesh Fogart? Well, I met her at Kokilaben Ambani Hospital when she was on crutches just 12 months before her Olympic bouts. Most would have given up then, but Vinesh turned her setback into an incredible comeback. Not only did she qualify for the Olympic gold medal bouts, she also went on to defeat a previously undefeated Japanese opponent, a feat that seemed unachievable until then. Then there's Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen was representing Denmark in the Euro 2020 championships when he suffered a cardiac arrest on the football pitch. Many thought his football career was over. But Eriksen didn't let that moment define him. He made an incredible comeback to professional football and earned a spot in one of the most illustrious football clubs in the world, Manchester United. Their story is a testament to the fact that your success, your failures are temporary. Your imperfections cannot hold you down. What defines you is yourself and your willpower to succeed despite what the obstacles are. Recently, I made a trip to Canary Islands, and I was awestruck to see how Spain had transformed active volcanic islands off the coast of North Africa into one of Europe's top tourist destinations. Once seen as futile, ugly volcanic landscape, it had turned a prime spot for tourists who flocked there every year to see the very landscape that were considered flaws. So clearly, your USPs are your flaws are your USPs. Well, to wrap this up, and while I'm no literature nerd, I'd like to quote one of my favorite poems. That's "If" by Rudyard Kipling, because that there are some lines which speak absolutely deeply to me: imperfections and rising above setbacks. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you've given your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. These lines reflect the true beauty of resilience. Kipling reminds us that success and failure are temporary. It's in our ability to handle them, not in our ability to avoid them. To wrap this up, let's take a trip down the memory lane. Those classic school moments, sprinting down the school corridors like we were participating in 100-meter dashes, or taking those occasional free kicks which sometimes found the goal, but more often than not shattered a window or two, or sneaking in snacks during classes like we were international smugglers, or last minute cramming before exams, or that one friend who always borrowed your homeworks or assignments but ended up outscoring you. Well, those moments weren't perfect, but they were ours. Life's imperfections are quite like those wild school days. Messy, chaotic, but full of surprises. These are what make your story worth telling. So here's my challenge to you. Go out there, embrace your imperfections, celebrate those quirks, and own the moments that you would otherwise shy away from. Because being different isn't being wrong. As my favorite Batman quote says, it's not who you are underneath, it is what you do that defines you. It's not the flaws you have, the doubts you have, or the imperfections you carry. It's about how you act and how you show up and make those moments truly yours. So go out there, define yourself what you can do and not by what holds you back. With this, I conclude. And if there's anyone who'd like to celebrate their perfectly imperfect journey for a cup of boost milk, you know where to find me. Thank you.